Today I'm going to be teaching you how to block out your eyebrows. What that means is that you're going to go from your full natural eyebrows to no eyebrows, looking like an egg, so that way you have a clean canvas to start your next look. What you'll need for this is a glue stick. So my preferred is a Elmer's child glue stick. That is the disappearing purple kind, so that way you can watch it when it's drying. This is not going to rip out your eyebrow hairs or anything like that. It is completely non-toxic and safe, and it dissolves in water, so it is not a big deal. Don't be scared. Another thing that you're going to need is powder and your powder puff, and then you will need an eyebrow brush. So this is a spoolie. There are also eyebrow brushes that look like little toothbrushes almost, and then there's also just regular combs. All of those can be options. Also need a color correcting cream. That could be white, that could be a really bright colored concealer, that could be a pink, orange, or salmon, or even red to block out darker eyebrows, but my preferred method is just a white cream. And then you will need your high coverage foundation. You're gonna start with completely clean eyebrows. That means if you have rubbing alcohol or a cleanser or anything like that, you're going to want to use that and just wipe them down. Also be very careful if you are using rubbing alcohol around your eye area, but you're also going to want to make sure that everything else around it is clean. Make sure that the alcohol or whatever is completely dried before you start adding glue, or else it's going to mess with the glue's formula. Once they're dry, you need your glue stick and your little eyebrow brush. So you're going to take your glue stick. I like to start at the outside of my brow and go in little circular motions for this first layer. You really want to dig in and get as much product as possible. Really get in there. Looks crazy. You're gonna make it look crazier. So you take your brush and you're going to brush all of the eyebrow hairs up and out. Make it as flat as possible. Once you've brushed them, go in with another little light layer immediately to flatten down what you just did. Then you wait for that to dry before adding anything else, and you can move on to the next side. Just repeat those exact same steps. Now you wait for both layers to dry. Make sure that it is completely dry. I suggest getting a fan or a blow dryer or whatever. Once your eyebrows feel dry to the touch, you are going to want to add another layer. But this time, instead of going in circles and going against the hair, go along in the direction of the hair that you combed outwards, so that way you aren't messing up the pattern that you laid down. Be generous with the amount of glue that you put down. Make sure that you get the inner corners of your eyebrows, like the inside of them, because those will pop up the most. So we are on to another layer. If you are a person that has really thick eyebrows like I do, this might take 4 or 5 layers. If you are a person that has thinner, blonder eyebrows, maybe sparser eyebrows, then 2 layers might be enough. It just depends on how you are. So at this point in time, you're gonna wanna check, gently go over, and if you can feel that there are still a lot of gaps and like you can feel the individual hairs, you're probably gonna need some more layers. But if it feels completely smoothed over and almost like skin, then you are probably good to move on. But I'm gonna keep going. If you're a person with thicker brows like I do, sometimes to save time, you can go ahead and do like the lower half of your face, so that way you can kill more time instead of just waiting for layers to dry. It can save a lot. So once you have all your layers of glue done, you can go in and change the shape of the glue. So if you feel like it's out too far on your skin a little, you can take a baby wipe or makeup wipe or a little rubbing alcohol or witch hazel on a Q-tip or on the wipe itself or on a cotton pad, cotton round, cotton ball. Clean up the shape. So I'm gonna do that real quick. Okay, so once you're done with that, you're gonna wanna get your powder and your powder puff. Now, you're not going to want to use a tiny bit of powder. You need a lot of powder. So dump out a lot of powder. And instead of pouring powder onto your puff and squishing it into it, you're going to want to dip your puff directly into the powder itself. Really, really coat a lot of it on there. And then you're gonna wanna take it on the puff and squish it all the way on the brow. As much powder as you can get. Really press it into the skin. The harder you press, the flatter it's going to make the glue. And the more it's going to get into all those little crevices. Then you can take a little fluffy brush and get some of this excess powder off of your face. Now at this point, you can see if your brows are laid down really well or not, because there's powder clinging to them. So if you have a ton of hairs still sticking out, you're gonna need to go in and do a couple more layers with glue. It's a good way to check how your cover is looking. And if you're happy with how it looks, then you want to go ahead and get your color correcting cream. So for me, I'm going to use white. If you have darker hair, like I do, white will cancel out most of the color of the brow. But you can, if you have so much that it's white isn't covering it, you can go in with a red or a salmon or an orange or a pink and cover that first and really put it only on the darkness. Don't put it on your like any other part of your skin. Those colors cancel out the blue and the green, which would be peeking through once you put your foundation on. So I'm taking white. Take it on your finger, get a lot of product, and press it just where the brow is. Make sure that you have enough product on your finger, so really, really coat it. You can see there's no blue peeking through this white. I'm gonna blend the edges just a teeny tiny bit. Then I'm gonna take my powder over that immediately. You can already see the brow disappearing. Once again, really press. I'm gonna go to the other side of my face. Make sure that you have enough product and go for it. Once you have your color correction done, you're going to want to take your foundation color and do the exact same thing. Once again, I use my finger and not a sponge because your finger isn't going to pick up any extra product. So get a good amount and lay it right on top of that, and you can blend it onto the skin now. And powder. Alrighty, so once you have that done, you can move on and cover the rest of your face or do your eyes or whatever order you want to do it in. I am going to do the rest of my face. Okay, I have successfully transformed myself into an egg. You can see that the eyebrows are covered, and now you have a complete blank canvas to redraw whatever you feel like, or if you have a character that doesn't need eyebrows, you have a blank canvas and you don't have to shave your eyebrows. From there, you can complete the rest of the look that you're going for. You can draw on new eyebrows in whatever shape you want. I personally suggest, if you are drawing on eyebrows, using a cream, a liquid, or even a powder product, and being very, very careful with the brush. I do not suggest using a brow pencil to draw it on unless you are drawing above the glue or below the glue. If you use a pencil, you might disrupt all of the makeup that you put on top of the glue and then show hair. But if you are using a cream, then you can easily glide it wherever it wants to be. I'm gonna do a look and then come back when I'm done and ready for eyebrows. Alright, I think we are about ready for some eyebrows now. So I'm going to take a gray eyeshadow or just a lighter color eyeshadow and kind of map out where I'm ready for my brows to go, where I'm thinking that they want to go. Now for this, I am taking just a little tiny brush, just one of the smallest brushes that I can find. This step is completely optional. Now I'm going to take a cream product and apply that in little tiny baby strokes. One thing that I suggest doing is taking it and putting the product on the back of your hand or on a small palette or on a piece of wax paper, whatever you have available, getting a teeny tiny amount of product on your little bitty brush and just start little tiny wrist flicks. Of course, all of this depends on what shape you're going for your eyebrows. You could be going for a more blunt, sharp brow. Or you could go for a fluffy brow, or you could play with different shapes. For instance, I've done a lightning bolt eyebrow before, which was pretty neat. Don't worry if you mess up the shape a little, because you can always go in and fix it. I am now taking foundation on a little tiny brush and going around and cleaning up any of the edges that I feel like need sharpening or just need to be edited. And there is one eyebrow. If you want to, you can go under the eyebrow with when you're cleaning it with a more like dramatic highlight, so you could go in with your highlighted shade. And now for the hard part, copying that brow on the other side. Remember, brows are not twins. Alright, now that the brows are done, I'm going to go in and add some finishing touches, and then I'll be back. And here's the finished look. Now you guys all know how to block out your eyebrows using glue and draw on some new ones. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you another time.